Go.
Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. This is your host, Katy Ray. Today on our episode, I actually have a women's panel. I gathered some of my friends who are in different stages of their life to talk about really the pressures of just being a woman in society and how society is not really structured to support everything that we want to do. And just really talk about how we get through the struggles, support systems, and just where we are. Because there's no specific milestone you need to hit at any certain age. And I pick people from different age categories to just really talk about career, building a family, being a mom, not being a mom, being single, being married, surprises that happen throughout life. And I have today Amanda.
Hello.
Kat.
Hi.
And Ashley.
Hey.
I love this. Thanks for all your hellos. So we're going to get right into really like questions and understanding. You'll hear from everyone. Kat's coming in as our youngest one on the panel because we really want to talk about the stresses that you're feeling that we were at one point, just in career, deciding things. And then the other ladies here in our 30s. That's all we'll keep it at. Everyone's probably like, I think you're 40.
We really want to talk about your stressful time period that you're in right now that we've all passed. That sounds great. I love it.
Do you know the time you're at and how stressed you feel? Don't worry, you'll get through it. We're here for you. It's really just to talk to Kat about the stresses
It's great. It'll help people who haven't gone through that stressful period. But for all of us, we'll talk about how crappy it was.
You're sweet. Thank you for making sure to translate for the others. So I'm going to kind of go right into it. So talking to Ashley as president, CEO of a nonprofit, so you have a little over one, right? Astella's over one?
She's almost 16 months.
It was a surprise or you were planning?
We were not trying to,
Gotcha. If it happens, yeah.
Yes,
got
exactly,
it.
yeah.
But when you had to kind of announce to your team and when you got pregnant, did you have any kind of setback of like, wow, is this okay this time? Because you were doing so much.
I did. So, and things kind of happened very rapidly with my work. Like at the time I was getting my MBA at USF and I had a board member that was actually sponsoring me doing that financially, which was awesome. So I was kind of worried about like that because I knew I was going to have to take a break at some point. And then like right when I found out I was pregnant, I started transitioning into my new role at HEP. So I was just worried about how that would be taken and if people thought that I could handle being a new mom and also running the organization. And
doesn't that suck to have to think like
yes,
that? I think it super sucks.
Yes. And
because you're happy but you're like, wait a second, did this fall at a time that these people are going to be happy?
Exactly. Yes. And luckily everybody that I encountered and talked to and told my news to was very happy for me. And like,
yeah,
like the donor that was supporting me through school and getting my master's degree was like, absolutely, take a break, go back whenever you feel like it, just let me know. And she's been awesome.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like sometimes you have the female support and sometimes you have the male support. It really depends on experience. Because like I told Amanda this at one point, like I had a female boss who said, go pump in a bathroom.
Ooh.
And I was like, really? Like what? And then one of my male colleagues was like, I'll watch this door for you, Katy, because his wife was, but I was just like, is this like really like, are we not set up as a society to understand that I probably shouldn't be in a bathroom where someone just took a shit?
Did she have kids? Because I feel like it maybe depends.
She had some kids. She had a couple kids.
Yeah.
See,
some people are just different.
Isn't it? It's like just like, wait, what? But I feel like I had to also kind of take a step back when I did IVF and think like, okay, well, that will hit during this event. If I get pregnant or if I start this cycle of hormones, can I travel or can I? And it kind of sucks because it's not like set up to help support, build a family for women. So like your career options or.
That was exactly our issue. That's why we hadn't started trying. Mm-hmm. Surprise, baby. Because I was supposed to go to Iceland and we were supposed to have all these awesome trips planned. And every single time you have a work trip, you think like you can't have a baby yet because you have to go on a work trip. And then if you do have a baby, how are you going to breastfeed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When can you start traveling like after you have a child if you're breastfeeding? A couple months or 6 months? Yeah.
Oh, I feel like people travel after 3 months usually.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't traveled, so don't ask me.
I don't know. I feel like
But internationally,
I
how
did
does
6 months.
internationally can you
freeze?
freeze?
I think you wait for like the first batches of vaccines and shit. Oh yeah, you freeze them and you bring the breast. It's really creepy. They touch your bottles and stuff through the.
Yeah, but it's
Well, no,
considered a
because-
medical liquid at this point.
Yeah, it is. No, yeah.
No, baby would stay. Like, so say if I go to Iceland for work and we have the baby in March or late February, can I go on a work
I kind
conference,
of wish this was my problem. Go on.
freeze a bunch of milk for baby
Yes,
Sierra?
you'd have to
Yeah.
ship it. And like, yeah.
No,
they
but
have-
I wouldn't bring
Like,
the
before
baby.
you
I'm not
leave.
bringing the baby to
Yeah, but-
Iceland.
Oh, you're just going. Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's what I did.
stockpile.
I
You can do
I
that.
stockpiled for Jaden at 4 months. We went to Napa for Chris's conference.
Okay, so you
So
can
I-
leave for like a week.
Yeah, it's all. There's always ways. Yes.
I mean, even though I
Yeah,
would
but then you
cry
just
a lot,
have-
I think.
Yeah, you would.
I mean,
Right.
I've worked for a company in the past doing expense approval, so I've seen like receipts literally where companies will approve for you to either ship your milk or like all types
That's
of crazy
awesome.
stuff. So
Yeah,
you,
that's
you can
really
apply
awesome.
for it for sure.
Okay,
Oh,
good
yeah.
to know.
And while you're pumping
Sorry,
air,
I didn't
you
mean
could-
to
No, that's
interrupt
beautiful. it's a
I just-
panel. You're fine.
I have lots of questions.
But yeah, no. But I think this is a good thing to show women. Like, yeah, you're going to be stressed a little bit because society is not set up to really. It's not structured for us. It's not. I mean, it's not like oh my gosh, the men have it easier. No, I mean you don't grow a human in your body, but like it's not like built as other countries are for
Mhm.
like pregnant, and even for men. Like my husband never got paternity leave, or my partner, or my like they don't get like
At all.
the other
It's a
parent
scary
leave.
reality.
Yeah, which is shitty because I feel like that's like an important time to bond. Single mothers, partners, like two moms, mom and dad, like dad and dad, like it doesn't matter. Like it's not set up really for the other person ever.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I think it's important to remind people like there's no milestone. Like you don't have to have a baby at this time. It needs to be kind of on the time it just happens because it's always going to be stressful. I mean, you just have to maintain it. I mean, it's never going to be like, yeah, I'm growing a baby. I'm not stressed at all. Unless you're like a yogi,
Mhm.
I feel like, right? Like a Reiki.
Like
Like
a
you
Yogi
just know
Bear.
how to center yourself
A Yogi
every
Bear.
day. Not Yogi Bear. I mean, you feel like Yogi Bear sometimes. But I do feel like women just have that. And women who don't want kids, like rock on. But I do feel like as a woman in a field, especially sometimes male dominated, I mean, how many president and CEOs do you have that are female?
I mean, not too many. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially like
so-
like the people that I'm fundraising with,
Mhm.
they're almost all male.
Yeah, so imagine you're in a room pregnant,
Mhm.
and in your head you're like, some of these men really don't give a shit. Like
or maybe they
yeah.
just don't fully understand.
Yeah, they don't
or
understand. Yeah, they
they've
don't
seen their
really
wife go through it,
yeah,
but they
they're like,
haven't-
Yeah,
I
she's
was-
fine. She's cool.
yeah.
I always wonder, like, do you think that they're thinking that we're not working as hard or that we're not as capable? Did you ever question, like,
I
there's
The
wondered
smart
that
men
too,
don't.
yeah.
The smart men know, like, that's a badass.
Yeah.
We're in an IT industry, Kat and I, so it is male dominated to like the T. And some men, they're like, have no idea how to communicate. No offense, guys, we love you. But like, you're very technical. So you're not always like sales and marketing personality. So when you talk to someone, especially me, I would like have a belly under you. Like they're not gonna be like, "How's your baby? Like, how are you feeling?" Like I don't expect that. But I've thought that too. Like, just do you think like I can't do this? It kind of like lights a fire under your ass too.
so it makes you work that much harder?
Yes.
Almost?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just you kind of psych yourself out, even if your body doesn't feel good that day. You're like, I'm fine. I'm gonna rock this event, or I'm gonna go
Like,
speak
I
real
almost
quick.
feel like I wish people would remember more that I'm pregnant again. Coming up again that I wish
I
people
think I'm
that I
gonna
was
just
pregnant.
make you a bunch of T-shirts.
I was thinking of putting something in my email signature, like, stop stressing me out, baby Sierra. Can't take the extra stress. Like, because
Like
you
an
feel
out of
like,
office, but it's like I'm pregnant. I like that message.
Yeah.
That's super
like,
fun.
think before you write this email. I'm pregnant. Is this going to overly stress me out? Because some people I feel like in my company have been a little bit nicer and like a little more
Mhm.
just easy with,
Well, you work international, so you have to put culture into it.
yeah, Spain always puts a ton of pressure on
Yeah.
us. But I think that there's a couple different managers that are in the market that constantly are reaching out and like needing stuff and like stressed out and
Yeah.
negative. And I want to remind them like, hey, I'm pregnant. Stop being mean.
This isn't really that bad right now, guys. This isn't that bad. Like, relax yourself.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kat, being a little younger than us, a little, as in 10 for me, 10 years, which is so ridiculous when I say it. I feel like your mom, but I wouldn't be 10. I'd be having you. But how do you feel like listening to this, knowing that because you're so intelligent, like you're in a career, you're trying to figure out kind of exactly what industry you want to stick to, like that it's okay, the pressures you're feeling right now of like milestones to hit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely listening to all the pregnancy talk. But I'm at a period in my life where it's like definitely expected from everybody I shake hands with that I would become pregnant in the next 5 years of my life.
And you're like, this is weird.
No pressure.
I can't get pregnant shaking your hand.
Yeah.
Please stop so aggressively shaking my hand.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially a little bit different for me because I have like a little bit of a culture difference. So I'm from Eastern Europe, and obviously like we're from a very photocopied nucleus. Everybody's the same. Everybody has like an expiration date, and they have to have kids, and like so many milestones. So definitely is a little bit stressful.
But you don't fit that cookie
oftentimes.
cutter mold, and you know that.
No.
I mean,
No, definitely, because I feel like I'm a little bit more like stronger and resilient. Not to say anything bad about the women from my culture, but it's just like I don't take no for an answer. I think that, you know, thinking for yourself and a lot of that independence that I picked up from America has definitely influenced me in a way that is kind of off-putting to people from my country.
Mm-hmm. I get that. And what do you think? Excuse me, just coughed. What do you think is the biggest thing right now in your generation, pressure-wise, as a woman in any industry? Like, what's the biggest like pressure? Because I can tell you mine at 25 would go.
I feel like it's definitely the bar has been raised for, you know, like obviously everybody wants equality and we all want to be considered the same as men, but then there's like this point where we're raising the bar for women to perform at the same speed as men and achieve the same things, but we're also the ones literally producing the children, and we are also expected to be 100% the housekeepers or like, you know, hold the home together. So we're getting so many more things added to the plate, and there's not this like common understanding that, like, I've been in relationships where I worked much harder than the person I was living with, and I worked at a higher position than the person I was working with. But when I came home, like every responsibility was still mine at the end of the day to take care of the home, and because he was the male, he just had to kind of like relax. And so I think that there's definitely still that environment where women are achieving more in the workplace and there's no equality at home.
Yeah, and that's against society set up to, I mean, that's where I always take, like, I love like women leaderships and things like that, but like we're the men in here so we can kind of talk with them and be like, this is how it kind of should be set up, totally equal either way. If I come home for an extremely long day, I know my partner is going to kind of take on that extra thing with the kids or whatever we're doing at home. Or if he comes home from a really stressed, like it's again, that communication where we've lost, I think, in younger generations, because we're that instant gratification. I mean, I like listening to kids talk about dating or kids or cat, talk about like dating and stuff and like the people you interact with and this, their expectations are completely thrown off. And it's super hard to find a partner, I think, now that just gives you the same credit for what you're doing. I think it's appreciation at the end of the day for women. I love when someone's like, thank you. Like, wow, you nailed that meeting today. I know you were sick like the other day or something, just like a little appreciation. Like, I don't need you to be like, I'm the best. It'd be cool though. But I think we forget that, and it does take men and women and inclusive of every group ever. But I just think we just lose that. And it's like, you're expected. Like, 3 months is fine for you to have a baby and come back. Like, that's fine. I don't remember any meeting after that. One of my bosses, who was amazing support, shout out to Carlos, he would just be like, hey, you sure you want to go to this meeting? Because I would just like be zoned, like my eye would just zone. I looked like I was on drugs. I wasn't. I just didn't have sleep for like days. And I was like, no, I'm fine. But in like 20 minutes, I have to pump. And he's like, what? And I was like, yes, I'm going to have to walk out. And I can't. Thank you for the conference room full of windows.
But I think someone acknowledging that you...
Exactly. That's it. Just acknowledging, like, I grew a human. I want to work. Like, I want to still work. Like, shout out to the stay-at-home moms, but I love working. Like, I like the interaction. I like learning from other people. You learn a lot from, like, a 1-year-old, but it's more of, like, just live your life. Eat that off the floor. You know, like, that's what you learn. But I think I love the interaction, and I need that to... They always say, like, where you feel like you're the most yourself, always keep that. Like, I think as a mom, I'm myself, But I do feel the most myself like in a group like this. Like I like to be in this type of setting and having conversations. So like don't give that up because it's like a little piece of you. But like what if you're so tired? You have to not do this today. But I think it's just not set up to support like the days that are hard, like super hard, where you can just be like, I got it. And you have a team under you where those days that you're like, did you only 3 months?
Yeah, just 3 months. Yeah.
Then
But I worked from home through my maternity
That's awesome.
leave because I'm not in a position where I can totally check out for 3 months. I had to sign off on stuff and I had to go to the office a few times and like personally sign things. And so, but luckily my board was awesome in letting me do that because I really didn't have another choice. So I didn't have to take short-term disability. They just gave me the
time off
as long
because
as
you were still working
yes.
with the things you had to do.
Yes.
And that's huge for support. And you don't get that in every industry, but you also have a great team under you.
Yes, I'm very fortunate.
But you felt it with a great team and support. And I think just as women and whatever someone's building behind us in the studio right now, it's usually chickens and roosters. Someone's digging a hole, probably for us. But it's fine. Just go with it. But I think you chime into the hardest part now in the careers you're in. Like, what is, you think, the hardest thing that you go through?
For me, I think it's always beating yourself and like one-upping like the next project. And you always constantly, in my field, in wine and spirits, we always have to be innovators and having that next great idea. And I think, especially being so pregnant, sometimes I'm questioning myself because pregnancy brain is a real thing. Did you go through that?
What's that?
Pregnancy brain?
Oh yeah, I think it's still there. Like it's lasting, right?
Yeah. I literally have alarms on my phones for my children. Kat hears it during the day at work.
It's good.
She's like, "What's that alarm?" I'm like, "It just makes sure someone's picking up the kids." I just don't remember all the time if someone's got the kids. So it just reminds me.
Which is fair because you're working, you're a mom, you're a wife.
So real. Pregnancy brain's real, but like you're not getting ideas or it just like goes away.
I have ideas and I think they're phenomenal ideas. Like we're doing a fire and ice party in LA this coming week. My long flight I'm not looking forward to. I'll be texting you updates of how my swelling is doing. And
if it is walking, you have to walk on the airplane.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think on my way out there, I have a layover in Atlanta, so I think I'll be okay.
Do your jogs.
But this will definitely be my longest flight pregnant. But I think, so I have a fire and ice idea that we're doing for this event. It's like a pop-up, it's a rooftop. And I love it and I think it's great, but I don't know if it's a little like Game of Thronesy or a little gothy or weird.
That's totally you though.
Is that relevant? But then I figured it's like LA and you can do whatever you want in LA, right?
Yeah.
Is this okay, ladies?
But I think people might show up and they might be like, oh, fire and ice. This is
not fire and ice.
This is very gothic, or I think
it sounds great. I don't know what it is, but I love it. Go with it. Rock with it. Don't question your ideas. Just run with it.
Okay.
I think it's beautiful. I can't wait to hear about it.
I just wonder if I'm like, because you get weird thoughts being pregnant and weird dreams, right?
Yeah.
Super weird. Like extreme.
Kat, aren't you excited? Like,
how are we getting you high?
Yeah, for sure.
Don't you want to just go out and make babies?
Immediately. I'm actually leaving, going to the spring band.
If you'd like some company,
that's
we can
another
go with you.
thing too. So, say career women, not stay-at-home moms yet because they're not a mom yet, but just women who just want to have babies right now. It's just like their time, and they just can't find that partner. Mm-hmm. It's like, don't stop. Like, yeah, you got your sperm bank. We have a lot of choices there. But for me, I'm like, there's just so many. I just don't like seeing people who don't want to be parents have babies all the time. That when you want to be a parent, it's like so much your love that you're ready to like give. Like, don't let society stop you. Like, you need a couple or you need a whole family. Like, I know great people who were raised by one parent.
Yeah.
That's what I hate. And of course, the money issue financially. But I feel like it stops people just because they're like, oh, no, I haven't met someone and I need to be with that person for this many years. And then I need to make sure I'm stable in my career or I need to do that. So back to my question, what's the hardest thing right now?
I think it's
at
definitely
your generation.
it's an obvious thing where you're like 25 and you're working with any company and you're trying to kind of like motivate yourself to keep grinding, but you have like fucking 25 years ahead of you. But also
There's no light at the end of the tunnel at all.
Everybody around you looks at you as just like a little baby, a little kid, and you're like, no, like I gotta get the gears grinding, like I gotta like earn a 401k, like healthcare, like all these new things.
Isn't
and it's
that
just
crazy?
kind of like a little bit daunting looking at all of it, but at the same time knowing the other perspective of you, and it's just kind of like no matter how hard you try, it's always going to be like poor thing, like
but I get through it.
I feel like you're also a threat though, because I think that people who are in their 50s or closer to retirement probably look at you and think you do have those next best ideas, you're fresh, you can bring so much to the table. So anytime you're like doubting yourself, just remember you're the young blood, and you're a little bit of a threat.
Don't doubt. You're young blood. I know. I do feel like there's a lot of doubt just in general. Every time I started a job, it's like, oh, do I speak up now?
Yeah.
Oh, do I share this idea? Will anybody support me or raise their hand? Am I just going to be the bitch in the corner screaming like about something ridiculous? But I do. Yeah, you are I just think our confidence levels, just as in general. I think technology, which I mean, we're in the industry, but I always talk like technology is awesome and has made us so much better at certain things, but has also destroyed like our mindsets for stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like even for like companies, it's like how many followers do you have on your company? Did you get enough? Like even for companies, they feel the same pressure for for your social. Yeah. But it's just like balancing act. I feel like I've just always been trying to balance something. But I feel like life wouldn't be the same if you don't have that little bit of chaos or pressure or down moments where everyone's like, oh my gosh, you have your shit together. I'm like, not even close. Yeah. Like that is not true. Thank you for watching my Facebook reel. It's fake. It's not real. But I think that's important that you recognized it. But I think always have a voice. I mean, all the time. Like even as like, it's so funny. Like when you talk to like little kids, sometimes I'm like, you're brave, you're strong, you can do anything. And I wonder if they're like, what the fuck is this woman talking about?
They're like, duh.
And I'm like,
I'm invincible.
It.
Duh.
Well, my son's always like, no. And I'm like, repeat it. And then I'm probably like, I don't remember ever doing this, but is this okay to do? Like, is this what I wanted? It's super weird hype sessions. But I feel like if they just have that motivation, like not entitled, but like that you can do what you want if you put in the work. Like that's it. But it is kind of, yeah, they're probably like, Mom, I get it. I already know what you're saying. But I do think, we hold back from so many things, either judgment or not thinking we can handle it. And I don't think people should spread themselves thin, because then you just go into like a hole. But I hate that people are held back from like something creative of just like a thought of like, oh, this idea I had to help someone, and they just like hold back because they don't want someone to respond. Like, I hate it.
What do you think makes a person that way though? Because I feel like we're both extremely outgoing and extroverts for sure. Yeah. But my mom is so shy. She's the sweetest woman. She's so shy. Alex, my husband's mom, is also very shy. His dad's outgoing. I mean, and then my dad passed away when I was younger. I'm just wondering, like, it's so interesting thinking about Alex, my husband, who's super introverted. I'm super extroverted. What makes a child confident? Or
I think your mom being shy didn't make her unconfident. I feel like, so I'm going to compare like children wise. I know like Juliana's like a little mini me. Jaden's like Mr. Sensitive, which I'm definitely like that too. But like Estella, sweet, but like firecrackery.
She's a social butterfly.
Yeah, but super sweet because she watches her parents be super sweet to each other and other people. I think it's definitely just watching and observing. Mm-hmm. I think it just makes your, I think it's definitely 100% your surroundings. Mm-hmm. I mean, from trauma, you could tell kids that have gone through trauma that act out because they've been, to kids that are just like super sweet. Like I have Jade in the Walmart greeter, but Juliana does that like, don't talk to me real quick. Okay, now I like you. You seem cool.
It's just so interesting because it's the same parents, but different personalities.
A little bit of hardwiring too. I really do.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like one comes out super sensitive and one's like, bye mom, have a great day. And Jane's like, don't be late, and like crying. But you're like, where did that come from? So I do think a little, and I do think, I don't know. I always say like, I mean, I'm not a medical person, but during their pregnancies, I was super worried during Jaden and Juliana. I was
My
a little
mom
bit
says
like,
the same thing
I had
about
no
me and my
time.
brother.
Where do you feel like you were relaxed during Estella? So she seems super chill.
I did meditation throughout my pregnancy because I had that stress factor where I was kind of worried about things, and it got to a point where I was like, all right, I need to do something to kind of pull it all in
Center it.
and chill. So I got the Headspace app, and they actually have a special session for pregnancy and like making sure that you're peaceful and calm, and I would do that every night. And I think it helped a lot.
That's why I don't think I had the time to worry as much with Juliana because Jaden was only 2. Where it wasn't, and now she's just like, let's do it, let's jump off that building over there, it's great. Just like, why do you have no fear? Why is there 0? But I do think it's surroundings,
because it's just crazy thinking about me growing up and our family videos, the old school VHS videos that I have. I was running over my dad's like feet with my bike, like eating candy,
0
like
fucks.
Complete maniac, like the most hyper weird child. My dad was like, "Get out of the street, Mandy! Get out of the street!" And I'm like, "La la la!" Like literally.
Yeah, I think that's hardwiring though. You're just like a confident kid. Like I don't care.
And Alex, super smart kid. He was the kid who like goes and hides behind his parents, like his parents when
you're right. It's like surrounding to a point. Like, is this how you're wired? Like you're wired like this.
Yeah. Really? But then it has to be because his sister's like super outgoing.
I don't think I've always been confident. I've just been extroverted. How do you feel? Like are you shy?
I kind of fall down the middle. It depends on the situation. I
like
think.
You're quiet to a point until you need to.
Yeah. Yeah, and in a work setting, I'm not shy at all.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on like where I'm at and who I'm around. Yeah.
Because she's the boss.
Yeah, should I got running this shit?
Well, I think at work, like I'm doing things for, like I have a mission I'm trying to support.
And it's a
so
specific
it does
cause
good for the mission if I'm, approachable. And,
well, that and I mean, like you have lives in your hands essentially.
Right. Yeah.
So you're helping people grow their lives, and you're like, I got to be loud for this. Like not loud, but like I need to speak up for this part. Yeah. No, I get that. How about you? Do you think?
I mean, I always thought of myself as like the extroverted type of person, but I think between me and my brother, I'm definitely more introverted. But that also could be because he's like a big gay bear, so he's got this huge personality.
Oh,
yeah,
that could be that. It's just one or the other. I don't know. But against him, you feel introverted. But I mean, like in a group setting, I feel like you're extroverted.
Yeah.
To a point.
I mean, yeah, but a lot of that's like sales training.
Oh yeah. You're just selling yourself great.
Yeah.
It's all an act.
No, I know. And I feel like I don't think in any title or role that you have to be extroverted or introverted. I think you can get the same type of results either way. Well, I just mean like awkward introvert, but I don't think you have to be aggressive. I think just being assertive and knowing when to really like speak up. I hate that women are called like bitches when they're questioning things in like a work atmosphere. I hate when people like, I don't mind being called a bitch, thank you, but I don't think it's fair in like a leadership role to tell me that I'm being moody.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Because I have something to say against something.
Yeah, I remember when me and you were on the same sales team for a company we shall not name.
Elon.
We would have to go into people's homes, and it was like me, you, and like one other woman.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like 2 other women. And I was voicing my concerns about like the treatment I was getting walking into like a male's home, and it's just me and him and his like scotch,
Yeah, super awkward.
So it was just something that I didn't
just
feel
shake
good
it off,
about. And I voiced it, and everybody was just like, oh, like that shouldn't be like a reason why you're not succeeding here. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I'm trying to get the hell out of the appointment.
We're in someone's home. Like we just set ourselves up.
I think that would be a total trigger for me. If someone said I was being moody,
yeah, no, I know,
or overreacting, trigger.
But she was just legit laying out like we should probably have different processes for this.
Yeah.
Like being like very assertive to something that is important to people's safety.
Yeah, for
giving
sure.
good advice.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I don't think that should stop. I mean, being called moody or I think eventually it'll change. Like just if we just keep voicing it and banding together. But again, I don't think it should only be women coming together. I think strong men who understand how people should be treated fairly anywhere is important. And I love those dads and those parents who are also working, like understanding that. And I feel, and it takes time. I mean, society again is set up to just be like, women got this, it's fine. Like, But man, he can do his job and support the family, but I want to support the family. Like that's something I want to do. And roles are changing, and that's amazing in any partnership. But I also think it doesn't. There's an activist who says, if it's for sexual, it's for what's it? I don't know. It's for sexual
domestic violence.
Yes, for like domestic. Like, if women were the only ones in charge of this, it would have been stopped by now.
Yeah.
But we need men to also be joining us to then. I think it's in every problem that we have in any situation. Like everybody has to just understand, educate each other. I mean, we just weren't taught that way. I mean, if you talk to your mom or your grandma, like their views sometimes, you're like, what?
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm not serving someone their food.
Yeah.
They have their they can get up and get their food. What?
That's why Kat's comment was really interesting, because I would think maybe millennials have that old mentality where the men do come home and relax, and women, even although they're working, they do all of the house chores. I would think that would be starting to change. So that's really interesting coming from, because I'm 33, so you're a lot younger than me too. That it's not like
still
that.
there.
Like, have you found that with multiple people you've dated?
Yeah, for sure. It's still there, for sure. It's still like a huge expectation. It's almost kind of like now the tables are even turning, because a lot of my partners like that I've been with, I'm definitely the breadwinner. And so it's just kind of like this thing that doesn't really click with me, like if I'm
Where's the balance?
If I'm working harder, if I'm working longer, if I'm earning more money, like there should be some sort of balance in these relationships, whereas I'm finding that maybe that's not what I've experienced. And that could also be because I am so young. Maybe I'm not picking the right partners, things like that also definitely play a big part of it. But I think that overall, like my expectation, much like yours, would be that it's kind of dissipating, and it's definitely still very present.
I think something also I learned is not to have expectations, even though we've used that word like 100 times. But as I get older, it's like you can't expect somebody to do that, or you can't expect somebody to work like you, or you can't expect someone who didn't grow up like you to understand how important family is right now, or something like that. So the expectations definitely come into, I think as a younger gal, I think my priorities were definitely wrong, just a little fucked up. But as I grew older, you just realize, like, yes, I think how people are like, your group gets smaller. Yeah, but you also talk to more people and understand more experiences, and you learn to listen. And actually, like, I enjoy listening to people's stories, because they want to share it with you. And you gave them that like 10 minutes to literally tell you how they got to where they are or what they're doing today. And I think for you, that's like every day. You hear a new story and a new family comes in, or a new person comes into the nonprofit, and you're helping them, and you've now respected their story.
Yeah. Well, it gives you fresh perspective every day. Like seeing somebody else's struggle makes you kind of realize that your own is not that bad.
Yes. And it's not like, I think you can always validate. You validate what you're going through all the time. It's so important. But you get to actually get that awakening every day of just like, Ashley, snap out of it. Where sometimes I get like in a hole where I'm like, today's bad. And you don't know how to get out. And then you're like, wait, like you need a perspective. Like you need something to just wake you the fuck up, because you just got sucked into some scrolling or some stupid shit. But I think that's important, and finding somewhere where you feel like you are helping in an industry, just like that one story of your breast cancer survivor, of helping her. Like she's like, oh my gosh, I love your liquor. Like my husband and I sit and drink this every night outside on our patio. That one lady that you like helped, and you were just like, I'm helping someone.
Yeah.
And it's just like those little things. If you like find those little things in your industry, or just like helping one team member grow in their role, I just think those are the things that we forget about 100%. And then it goes into like helping others. But everyone's like, I like doing my own thing at my house, just like coding. I don't know. But I just think we forget, and we get off track because we're so worried about judgment, or we're so worried about what's expected of you at that time. So any topics did we want to bring up today that I didn't bring up? Oh, everybody's on the spot. Go.
I really like that you brought up expectations. I read a really interesting article a couple years ago, and I was shocked. It was like the number one cause of divorce, and you would think it'd be like infidelity or like fighting or finances. It was expectations. And I think when you have very unrealistic or just very strict expectations on someone who comes from like a completely different background than you, it can be
I think
terrible
we take
for-
expectations from like media, and I don't even know if that's real. Like, why are we expecting someone to carry me through a walkway every time I come in the house, which would be nice.
That would be nice.
I mean, but like, why are we expecting that? Or like the fairy tale.
Right. And I think that definitely when you choose to marry someone, there are certain things that it's fair to have expectations. This person's going to be a good husband. This person's going to be a father. They're going to contribute, stuff like that. But when you expect them to do more than you or even do half, unless that was what was brought to the table in the beginning, it's hard to expect that later, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of glad I didn't have crazy expectations. I almost had low expectations.
Good for you.
For my husband, because he's so sweet and he's so amazing. But sometimes you think men just may not understand like what being pregnant's like because they don't do it, you know? And Alex,
you
my
set the
husband,
bar
is
low
just
so that
like
he came out strong.
Stepped it up. Yeah. Like
That's super
bringing
cute.
me food and coffee and like helping with the dogs and waking up in the middle of the night. And it's to set those expectations low or don't have any. It's
Set up super
recipe
low
for
that person.
perfection, I think.
I feel like you probably have that with Matt.
Yeah, Matt's awesome.
You both pull your weight. That's what I
We
always
do,
say. Like,
yeah.
you're just pulling your weight.
And I think a lot of that has to do with how long we've been together.
Mhm.
Like, we've been together for 15 years, and we waited until, just in the last couple of years to have kids. So we really grew up together. And I think, like, he saw me work my way up through HEP and get to where I needed to be in my career. And I seen him go get his master's degree and work his way up to where he wants to be. So I think we have that, like,
Mutual respect. Mhm.
right, for what each other has done for our family.
Like, you walk by and just high five each other sometimes. What if I go?
No, he's been awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like give and take and
Mhm.
balancing everything out. And if I have to work late, he's getting a Stella, and if he wants to stay later at the gym, I'm getting dinner ready, and we just
But
make it
you
work.
didn't start there, and that's
No,
what
you
people
have to
don't
grow
realize.
together.
Yeah, like, I'm not the same place I was at 25. I mean, I think I was getting off probation. But I'm not the same place, you know? But I think it's important for us to realize that, and people are like, well, I fell in love with you here.
Mhm.
It's like, but that's not the same person I am. Like, we're 10 years later. Like, this isn't, I'm growing. If you can't grow with me, then, and it's like, I think we hold ourselves back. So don't set your expectations low. Just don't have any. I mean,
True. But also if you set
you're
them
gonna
low, it works
suck
out
at
pretty
this,
well.
So I'm just gonna see what happens.
I just thought I would have to communicate a lot, but
I know.
him just initiating, I'm going to bring home dinner, or
Yeah.
I'll wake up, we have a puppy, and I don't care what anyone says about puppies. They totally
There were.
prepare you, right?
Yeah, you had a dog before, Estella.
Yeah.
Gino.
Poor Gino. Yeah. He's just now coming around.
He's like, what is this new thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm worried about that.
I
the
think
dog's
it's-
adjusting.
Okay, so expectations for Amanda. Kat, anything we didn't bring up? Shout out.
Not that. No, I can't do it on the spot.
I
don't
know. You
It's
have to be so
hard.
prepped. It's-
Gotta, like,
You're
think about it.
exhausting.
I want to know your country. You said East Europe, but what's the country?
Former Yugoslavia. That's what I've been like trained to
Yeah.
say. So my mother is Bosnian and my father is Serbian, and I was born in Serbia.
And how long have you been here?
20 years. I've been here
Nice.
like my whole life basically,
Mhm.
but I did come here like as a fully formed 6-year-old. So I like definitely was like a little fresh
Yeah.
off the corner
You're like,
when I
"Hey,
first came
I'm
here.
6."
But yeah, I mean, I think a bit of that is kind of like balancing like what you know and what is home, and like what you've discovered and the freedoms that you have in America, and kind of like trying to blend those two together. And I think like that's another added layer of how like difficult it is to like find a mate, because like in the sea of people that you're looking for, you're also looking for somebody that's gonna accept you for the immigrant that you are.
True.
And right now, some people just like are not really okay with that. Some people are. So it's really just like digging through a lot of BS.
And it's balancing also your family's views, because you're coming from a different culture,
For
fully
sure.
country, and understanding like where they're coming from and knowing what you have now learned.
Yeah.
Like it's me first, and then I can figure out everything else. Like I get to go first. But I think that's hard to learn too. I think at every age, I questioned everything. I definitely joined wrong crowds at certain times because you're like, no, it's cool. Like this is what I should be hanging out with. Or no, like it's okay if we do nothing all day. And then you find people that actually work hard and want to help others and you're like, okay, I'm an idiot. Like, why didn't I put myself in more things that actually do good for me?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's fun that you're growing, and now look at us three just helping you out, just giving you advice, scaring the shit out of you, whatever we're doing. I think we're doing a great job.
I think it makes you like so cool that you're an immigrant from another country.
Thank you.
My aunt adopted 2 kids from Latvia, both of my cousins.
Wow.
And at first she was embarrassed and she wanted to be American, but now she's in her mid-20s and I feel like she's embracing it. Like I think she got a tattoo with Riga from Latvia on there, and now she doesn't care if her accent comes out a little bit and stuff like that. But it's interesting. It takes a little while. And same.
Well, because her confidence wasn't there at first, right?
Right.
Like, so she was scared of being herself.
Will they accept me and things like that?
Exactly.
But I think it makes you so unique. I would totally
rock it.
Yeah.
Please don't get a tattoo that doesn't get a tattoo even to represent you. Ashley, anything from you? Any topics?
I think like just the importance of like no matter like we all have decisions to make and our family planning and our career planning and things like that, but I think as long as you're making the decision that's right for you, you truly can't go wrong. Like I've got, one thing that we all have in common is that I think we're all career focused and we also have families and we're trying to balance that out. But there's also something to be said for the woman who gives up her career because she feels like her value is most in staying at home with her kids and raising her family. And I think no matter what you're doing, as long as you're doing what's right for you and your kids, then you can't go wrong.
That's why, like, when I did the stay at home for a couple months, I was like, wow, I give so much credit to stay at home moms. Like, this is a lot.
It is.
Yeah, but I knew like where my little bit of passion was. So I knew that I needed something extra on top of it.
And just because you choose to work doesn't make you less of a mother.
But that was the struggle, right? At first. I was like, wait, does that mean I'm not good?
It's like
at
an
being
internal complex that you have
definitely
to battle.
a mind fuck
but you can do both. And like that's why I wanted to work, is to show Estella that you don't have to choose. Like you can have your career and that piece of you and also still have an awesome family and rock that too. And so I think,
and you have a good support. And I think people need to remember to support any woman, man who's deciding on an extra thing to do. Like even Matt doing his master's.
Yes.
Like you need support. Like we just shouldn't expect like, oh yeah, no, he'll be fine. Like, no, you need that support system. I think we all think we have enough time in the day, which we don't, to do everything we want to do. But it is making your time first. And I love that you're showing Estella that. And even though it sucked probably to not really to have to like sign things and stuff, you knew you had to because you knew how important it was for you to sign that paper for something to be passed
and that's
through.
the path I chose. So like I'm not going to be upset about things I have to do on a path that I chose.
I think that's another thing people are lacking is accountability. Like you weren't taking like the route of like, no, I just had a baby. You knew that like to keep this business running, like we're going to have to do that. Just like people who own a full on business or aren't a president CEO, but you have to sign the papers. Like someone can't sign it for your interim. Like, oh no, we'll just have this guy come in. It's fine. But it's just important. I mean, people have to think of that all the time when they go on their own as a business. You have a team under you. Like you also took responsibility to make sure to grow this company or, so I think there's a lot. Your team under you too could be growing a family. I mean, shit, that's a lot too. A lot of pressures.
That's crazy thinking about that.
I know.
You just added another layer.
Gosh. I hope you had fun on this panel. I think we should do this again. I'm going to get feedback from our viewers and our audience to see what they want to hear next time. But I hope it was fun. I hope we didn't frighten Kat too much.
It felt a little
She's
bit like a personal counseling session, but that's good.
We were trying to empower you. Is there any empowerment?
I think so. I told her to get a back tattoo.
Yes. Okay, no big deal. But ladies, thank you again. Amanda, Kat, and Ashley joined us today. Ashley's part of Homeless Empowerment Program. Check her out. Any type of fundraising she's doing or events, definitely join. It's in Pinellas County. You guys kind of go Hillsborough sometimes too, though?
We get a lot of clients from Hillsborough,
So check that out. We got Liquor 41. Did I say it right?
43.
Fuck, 43.
I
It's
have so many
pregnancy.
more
Let me
brands
be.
now.
There's so many brands. Just look her up, Amanda. Then you have Kat.
Amanda
I can't even tell you her Instagram right now because I can never remember it. But just follow her on my page. Again, this is Not a Great Whisperer podcast. You have joined the women's panel today. We are sponsored by McMullen Oil. We are at BKN Creative Studios in Ybor. Thank you for listening to the chickens and the roosters, or whatever they're called. I'm not great with animals. Follow us on Not a Great Whisperer, at Not a Great Whisperer, and at The Real Cray. And you're jamming out to Morty's music after this.